think you left your lights on.
No, they go off.
Oh, they go off.
Yeah, it's the autumn.
Beck was saying that you thought I was on Facebook, and I'm not on Facebook.
That's not you.
No, I know she's on Facebook, and she might say stuff, but that's not me.
Yeah, sometimes.
That's not me. I don't get on Facebook. I don't do none of that. If I'm gonna say something, I talk in person.
Yeah, please do that. Don't, some of the things that go on there, it's ridiculous, Jesse.
Yeah, I don't see it. I mean, I get on there sometimes when she shows me stuff, but
Yeah.
I mean, I have people tell me all the time, there's stuff on there you should check out, and I'm like, I don't have it. And then she's blocked from some of the stuff.
I ain't answering them.
Right.
I'll look at it. That's it.
There you go.
It's getting too carried away with bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hear
we all
you.
need to get along. You know what I mean?
No, I agree.
We're supposed to be a community.
Yeah, we should definitely be coming together and not getting pulled further apart. So.
Yeah, and that's what it looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Cool.
Try to
Sure.
make it legible, okay?
Okay.
Jesse? The last, can you figure out who those three people that I can't really decipher are?
They're over there.
They're over there?
The young, I think it's the blonde and
Tell them to print it, not sign it. I think the problem is they're signing it and not printing it.
Yeah.
I could, sure.
I think it's, yeah.
Hilda was wanting anybody that signed it with a signature to print it so she can read their name to put it in the minutes.
It's one of mine.
I don't know.
I think
Is that is one of them?
which one is yours? Yeah, I can't read that one. Thank
I figured out it's probably one of
I'm
them.
gonna bring it down here and tell them the same. Do you need that's your pen? Okay. So Hilda was saying there's some people down here that signed this instead of printing it, and she can't read it for the minutes. If you signed it instead of printed it, will you print it instead of signing it, or print below it?
I saw it. That's handwriting. Jab. I said sign it, so I signed it.
How are y'all doing?
Doing good? How are you?
Oh, I better not complain. Busy, busy, busy.
There we are. Excuse me.
Yeah, we have like tons of chairs out in the A-frame. I don't know why they don't bring some in here.
Yeah, there's got to be a different way
It's
to
a
rearrange.
common-
There's got to be a different way to rearrange. I'm like a rearranging.
Oh, yeah.
There's
Well-
a different way to rearrange it and get folding chairs in here.
When they want to, what they do is they put all the chairs back here in the rows, and it seats a lot more that way.
Sounds like they can.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm gonna stand over precariously behind y'all if you don't mind. There's no chairs. I don't want to go to the A-frame and ask people for keys. We have a whole lot of chairs out there, but you'd have to go out there to get them.
Okay, we will call the September 10th meeting to order. If you would please stand for the invocation.
our Heavenly Father, Lord, thank you for this day. Lord, thank you for the way you work in our lives. We thank you for the many blessings you give us and everything. Lord, we just ask you to be with us throughout the night. Just keep us safe, watch over us, guide and praise. We'll give you the honor and the glory and we praise your name.
We will place the flag. I'll pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, so, Madam Secretary, roll call, please.
Glenn Winter,
Here.
Tom Travel,
He's absent. Sick.
Londa Atkerson, E. James Baker, Judy Grimm, here, Mike Davis, Sammy Key, Tommy Matthews, Wayne Sellers, Gloria Spivey, here, Charlie Thompson,
Here.
Terry Hester, here, Vicki Olson, here, Vicki Sellers, here, Bill Grimm.
Okay. Have a motion to approve the excused members traveled out of state.
Make a motion to approve it.
Okay, we have a motion by Charlie, second by Sandy. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. We'll move on to the agenda. You've got a copy of the agenda, board members.
Thanks.
What's your pleasure?
It came back.
Motion to approve. Second. No, I'm sorry, we need a motion to approve.
Make a motion to approve.
Wayne makes a motion to approve, Charlie second. So is there any discussion on the agenda? Okay. All in favor of the motion, say aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. We'll move on to the minutes, Hilda.
You've got your August meeting in front of you. Hopefully, you have any corrections that you make before posting them on the site.
Do we have any? Yes, Sammy.
On the agenda, the last month's thing, when you added up what I was looking at for the electrical bid,
Yes.
kind of got that a little wrong, but I'll explain it all tonight.
Would you like to give it to, okay,
I'll explain it all.
I'll get revised numbers tonight. Good enough.
So
I'll make
you-
note.
we're going to revise the numbers, subject to you giving us the numbers. Well, let's go ahead and just get it correct now. We can do that, so we
Yeah.
can deal with it.
I need it right now.
Just numbers.
What's the number?
Just the
Yeah.
numbers.
If it's incorrect on the,
So Holly Electric was at the 5286.
That was fine, It's the High Springs Electric, got the 1,137.80. 3,000, those were two options. But you didn't add the other numbers with it that were on. So I wanted to make sure that we knew that, or in case people looked at it on the internet, that would see.
I
that
see.
was- that was wrong.
Okay, and how about the last one?
That's right.
Okay, perfect. So I just need to say two options, A and B or
A
something?
and B, and plus the numbers were not right on. You still had more to add to.
Oh,
So
gotcha.
that's why that was wrong. So,
Okay, plus others.
it all equaled up with the 1378, with everything else that they needed to do was 2945.
29.45, huge difference. Okay.
That's why I wanted to bring it up before the meeting to make sure.
Oh, 2,945.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm
Yeah, I'm
thinking
sorry.
29.45. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
okay, board members, were y'all able to follow that? Okay, so we'll, the changes, so we'll call for a motion to approve the agenda. The minutes, what am I saying?
Motion to approve the minutes with the changes for the irreversible prices.
Second.
Motion by Bonner, seconded by Charles. Any further discussion on minutes? All in favor of the motion, say aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Do you have anything else on your report, Madam Secretary?
No, I will report that, we did have a meeting on the 5th, and we do have meeting minutes for it, and I was thrilled to see that our bookkeeper posted the budget online, so it's available.
Okay. So the
Well, now,
minutes,
the new budget will not be posted until it's approved by the board.
Say it's not on there.
Oh, she sent it to us. She sent it to us. Okay,
To
yeah, sorry
review for
about that.
tonight's
Yeah, okay, got it.
so the minutes that you have will be approved in the October meeting for the budget planning session.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else? Okay, we'll move on to the treasurer's report.
checking account, we had 86,978.62. And our savings account is 503.58. The CD account is 50,624.78. And our membership checking account is 32,768, for a total of
Bless you.
170,867.78. On the P&L for August, and Carol ran a comparison from August to January through August budget for your review. And if you'll notice on the P&L for August, there's not a whole lot there, because in July, I paid a lot of bills in advance because I was gonna be away. Only wrote 4 checks for the month. So there's nothing glaring that looks odd for August. It's very little expenses noted for August. Before you talk about approvals on the paper, is there any questions on that so far? Okay. I noticed that there's an increase, a 30% increase in our bill for Polonies since our statement in July. So I called them, and they had a rate increase. And so I called, Porta Potty Rentals of Bayonet, and where Polonies is charging us $90 per unit per month, Porta Potty Rental of Bayonet was gonna charge $198. Fort White Porta Potty, which is out of High Springs, theirs was $180 plus tax. So I called Polonies and negotiated with them yesterday, and she called me back today, and they decided to give us a credit on our bill. They had us set up to do extra servicing on those 4 porta potties, which was gonna charge us an extra $240 a month. So Charlie agreed to give us $111 credit per month off of this bill. So instead of the bill being $796, it went down to $516. So, and what I told them was that we wanted those porta potties only serviced once a week. I don't think we have the traffic to do twice a week. That'll save us some money. They said in the summer months, if we decide to go back to 2 a week, we would have to let them know. Okay? So then I called Windstream, and one of our bills is over $400 a month, and that is for the internet and all the equipment that is here at Hoder. So I complained, and he agreed to give us, $30 a month for 1 solid year, which would amount to $360 credit on our account. And then the other Kinetic bill that we have, which is the boat ramp on the Columbia side. That bill is only $152 a month, but he agreed to give us $20 a year for a solid year, and that would amount to $240. But then he also noted that there is a router charge on the boat ramp, and he said, I'm just going to remove that completely. He's not removing the router, he's just removing the $11 a month. So that's forever. So, between Polonies and Kinetic, we saved over $2,000 for the next year. Great job. Hey.
All that happened is somebody had a complaint on Facebook and make something happen, huh?
Sure. Okay, so is there any questions on the financial reports for today?
Any board members?
I want to remind everybody when we go over the budget that going forward, unless there's an emergency means somebody's going to get hurt or get killed. We need to get 3 bids on jobs. If a tree fell and it's laying on the ground, it's not an emergency. So let's remember that going forward. Okay?
Okay, any board members on the finance report? Yeah.
I thought, and it was two quotes is what was required in our paperwork.
What was in the second one? I'll have to look it up, because I remember us talking about 3 bids, and then there was an occasion, I think with Tommy, where he was only able to get 2, but he could show effort was made to get that 3rd one and never could, so.
If you could look at that, I
Yeah.
would appreciate it, because I think that's what it said.
All right, I'll double check that, thank you.
Okay. So do we have a motion to approve the finance report for August with expenditures and revenues? Need a motion by Gloria, second by Sam. Any further discussion?
I have one other thing. Our CD matured last Saturday. I talked with the bank today. It's a 3-month CD, and I told her that I felt that the board was going to want to just let it go right on back in the assigned account. Their interest rates seem to be adjusting a lot more frequent than they did last year. So our interest rate went down a little bit to 4.65, but that's what it would be for the next 3 months. So we're leaving that $1,030-something in there and just letting it all keep compounding interest. Is that okay?
That's great, thank you. Okay, all in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
I got the thing set up.
Okay, so, Jerry?
Okay. I knew I was
Okay.
okay.
We know who follows who.
Okay, I've got the thing set up for the members meeting on October 11th. We're gonna do the election from 10 to 1. We'll start service food at 12, and at 1 we'll start the members meeting. And I will need to put up the tent the night before, about 5 o'clock, on October the 10th. That's all of that, I'm sorry, I got Rick on. And,
What time are you going to be setting up?
5 o'clock.
5 o'clock.
And I had a member call, she said going forward, and they would like us to see us do background checks on our applicants for the board. Not this election, but actually post election. That's up to y'all, that's all right.
Yeah, I'll discuss that with the attorney. We can go into that.
Okay. That's all I got right now.
All right. We'll move on then to Bill Graham, Park Manager.
All the parks are open except for Camping Park and Brandon, they'll probably be open this week. Towards the end, especially Camping Park. I was wondering also about our signs, if we were gonna do any kind of landscaping around them before we start leaving and everything out there.
Which sign are you talking about?
The 3 signs that we have,
Yeah.
the big ones.
We have the fronts under contract, right?
Right, Ken cuts that one, then you put all that. But we have 3 other ones. We have one on Utah, one on
What's the
David
probably?
takes care of the Swanee one.
I know.
Yeah.
Is the one bringing it?
Oh, okay.
So, we had groups of people plant those, so Wilson Springs and Utah. Unfortunately, Utah immediately got ruined because 4-wheelers were filling all the South Palmetto. About 6 months ago, there was one surviving, but I don't think it's there anymore. The one on Wilson Springs seems to have South Palmetto that survived.
Yeah.
So he'll just try to make sure that they don't get chopped. That would be great.
Might be a good idea just to stabilize that with some pine straw. Pine straw, stabilize the soil
But
around
we
it.
did it initially, but we didn't get
What
back.
if you put some sort of rock around it instead of plants?
They may break out windows or something. Pine straw maybe, I guess. Stabilize it.
No, all that costs money every so many months, and the people don't drive a four-wheeler.
That's all we can do. Go ahead.
Could we get some big rocks?
We possibly could, I don't know how much we've got, in our budget for this coming year. It's gonna be a key thing for us. We're trying to hold the time, so we can look at that later here, see how we do it.
I got a few big ones I can do.
Pardon me?
I got a few big ones I can do.
Okay. Accept it.
So,
We can afford it.
You come and get them and lose like.
You have a tractor, right?
Sammy, we'll keep that in consideration, that the maintenance committee can consider that. Good idea.
yeah, I've seen people and also signs of people smoking dope around bathroom over at Camping Park, over at Swanee's boat ramp, and also in the other parts I see it occasionally. So the place I found some paraphernalia, I guess the word is right there at that, where we moved the table up underneath, next to the bathroom, and that's where I found it at.
You're talking about it, this one?
Yes, and so I just wanted it to be on record that if I catch anybody smoking pot and stuff, it's illegal in the parks, I'm gonna call the sheriff on them, okay? I'm just saying, that's, and then they can deal with it there, however.
Private property.
All right,
Yeah, it's private property.
there's no trailers allowed. There's no
I invite them to come
trailers
down.
allowed. Any park except for the two boat ramp parks. Boat trailers. Closed can park, midpoint due to flooding, yep, that's still, midpoint's open. And I'm gonna move down to, members, I have one issue with dogs this time. Over here at Holder Park, we had two members, they were using the pavilion number 3, and they had two dogs in there. One of them, I talked to the person, and he was a service animal. He agreed to put the dog on the leash, and they were very they followed the rules, and there was not an issue. The other person that was there had their dog down by the water, was off leash, playing in the water, running and playing with the kids down there. And I asked him about putting it, if it was a service animal. He said it was. I said, well, it's not acting like one because, he wasn't controlling it. And I asked him to put it on the leash. He advised me that it was a service animal and that unless it's a rule for our parks, then you didn't have to do that. And also,
It is a rule.
I asked for his names. I asked for his key and his name. He wouldn't give it to me. And so I didn't kick him out of the park, but I don't have a right to do that. I can't right now. And the dog wasn't going to hurt nobody, I don't think, but still, it's the idea if I can't.
I think you're doing just the right approach.
Okay.
Keep
So-
doing that, because it does have it knocked down significantly from where it was.
Yeah.
We are progressing toward that.
I try to stay on top of it when I see it. Members can do it too, ask people to, hey, please take your dog out of here. Otherwise, that's it for me.
Okay, any questions of Bill, his report? Okay, James?
Well, my one question was, I think we talked about it once before, that whenever somebody enters the park, we have readers, they're supposed to give key number, names, and so forth. Did we check with the attorney about employees being able to have the same right for this information? Because if not, then they're violating more, another rule. It's a simple thing. If somebody's transgressing the rules,
Well, I would think it would really be no different than the folks that are sitting there at the table. And if somebody says, I don't want to give you my key or whatever, so it's no different than that. So I would think that would be required. Now, getting something executed on that line, that is where our guys are working on that.
okay, so
So
you have that on their
just,
document?
yeah, just
We do have it on camera over here, and I wrote the time and everything on the old report.
But ultimately, what's gonna happen is that we will be in a position where we folks blatantly violate the rules in a consistent manner. We put together, done the investigation, it can be possible that they could lose their membership and access to park to be trespassed. So that's the direction we're going to keep. That's the direction we're going, because 99% of the people do what they're supposed to do.
Exactly.
Okay. Okay, any other questions of Bill? Okay, we'll move on to the maintenance committee reports. Tommy and Sandy.
Tommy,
Did you say something?
Yeah, I understand. Your report.
your report.
They haven't fixed those yet, have
Still got the hearing problem.
they? Okay, let's Sammy tell you. Okay,
Uh,
y'all want to report on the electric?
Okay, now, Bill and Sammy to report on this, because it's a little confusing. We had, one bid was a little high, so that was out, but the other two were close.
Okay.
I'll let Sammy, try to
If you
explain.
could specifically detail, so everybody could understand exactly what you've assessed to be the best bid for the specs.
I'll have to write it out again, but anyway, Holly Electric, High Springs Electric, and Matthews Electric. We threw out Matthews because he was way high. Holly Electric came in at $55.36.60. And that is, plus $250 if he has to pull a permit for the Tommy County side. The High Springs and Holly Electric, they went just exactly to our scope of work that we wanted to have a bid on. High Springs Electric came back at $43.23. If he has to put new pipe in from here to the pavilions, it was gonna cost an extra $3,000. So that is at $59.45, $3,000. Holly is cheaper, but Holly put in a clause, well, not a clause, but put in that if everything runs right, the wiring going out to the pavilions are 10-gauge wiring. So that means that we can put a 30-amp breaker on it, and that should eliminate a lot of the problem of it being breaker tripping points.
Okay, is the wire single strand that's running in that conduit?
I do not know.
Okay, because that was,
I think it is.
I think, Charlie Arnett
Yeah.
did that.
Charlie always
And
did.
and Charlie was, he did a perfect job, so I can't imagine there being any problem with the conduit. That just run up the building.
And, so if High Springs came in, if he has to use the $3,000 to redo all the conduit, it's gonna be $59.45. So as of right now, Holly is cheaper at $55. I don't know High Springs Electric, I don't know if anybody else here does or knows them.
I know Bobby.
You know, Holly.
So we have an unknown then in relation to the conduit, which is,
Tommy and I thought about it, just in case we had any overages that they see something else that that's gonna have to be done. We were thinking that
Oh, man.
if we were gonna do this, as, put it on budget or whatever, for like $8,000, just in case we need to go.
What?
They found something else. Holly did also, he did a little, on the pavilions, he put, made a list of some, safety features that we need to have taken care of pretty fast. GFIs, or, I know how everybody thinks GFIs, but be on the safe side, we should have.
so you have the GFIs located in the service box, the electric box. There.
You can either put them in the panel box or out at, where you plug in.
Wouldn't you have more problem with them up here though, with that distance run?
On the breaker
Yeah, we
itself.
don't want to trip. It'd be.
Well, if you have it on the breaker, nobody can get in to turn it on. That's the bad thing about having this.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
That's right. The only thing about DFIs is that sometimes, like if you have IAMs and you have a carrier guy here or something, you might have a problem. I don't know. But you just have to see. And we were, so he's at 5536, the other one is at 5945. And so that's what Tommy and I thought we would, and Bill was helping with all this, and asked for about $8,000 on all of it, just in case we need anything else. So that's gonna be like $2,000 over.
So just bump that back up into those capital projects.
Right.
Okay.
I'll give the list back to you, or you can see, or y'all can look at the list of what the, Holly thinks, that we need to do for the safety issues.
So well, we're only, I mean, we're only talking about it, there's only one circuit running out there, is there, or is there two?
I think
It's one circuit, so that can't be that expensive, 30 amp.
well, it's all included in the price.
Okay.
All right. And
Yes, sir.
you might need to copy this and let everybody look at it. So that would be, I can work it out.
So anything above those 5,000 numbers, you would be looking at a change order, and that would go back to the committee.
Change orders, that's what we were asking for. Basically about $2,000 more, just in case we need to change orders.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
We had also talked about fixing the thing at Brennan Park and electric to go to this storage
It's
building.
included.
It's included. Okay, so this is
This
everything
is
that we
everything that we
need.
talked about, this is our
Yay.
scope of work that Bill laid out for us. Scope of work, everything that we were asking for.
That's good that you work
Very
put it all
good.
together.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, we can actually discuss that in the budget, when we get to the budget here shortly. Okay, y'all have anything else? Okay, we'll move on then to communications, Londa.
We'll go with the membership first. So as of September through today, the Columbia County membership side is at 702 members. Swan County side is 255, so we have a total of 957 at this time. So that's for membership. We have decided to go ahead and continue, this will be our 4th year, Fall Festival 4th year. And it's going to be on October 19th, Saturday, October 19th. It's going to be a long day. We need lots of volunteers, anyone willing to help. We're going to start off with the regular Fall Festival. It usually starts about 10 o'clock. I'm not sure, we'll get you the times of this later. We'll also be hosting a chili cook-off. We've done that in the past, and that was a big hit for our members. After the chili cook-off, everyone from the Fall Festival is put away their wares. And what the Fall Festival is it gives our members a place to come and sell their wares. Maybe you're a baker, maybe you make necklaces, maybe whatever you make, candles, maybe you grow fruits. Carl Boston makes signs. He made us the sign up here. So it's a place to come and sell your things, and it's a good time for the community to get together. Right behind that, we're going to have a Halloween party for the children. There is a Halloween contest for the adults and the children during that time, and once that is complete, we'll like to host again trunk or treat, have members come up and pass out candy just outside the Hoover Park gates. So it's going to fit that. So October 19th, mark your calendars.
Okay.
That's all very good.
Anything else in the communication committee? Okay, we'll move on to new business and set the annual budget for 2025. And Vicki, if you want to start with does everybody have a copy of the spreadsheet? Board members?
We went over line by line, and I'm not gonna go over line by line tonight. But some of the highlights are under income. You'll notice that under membership dues, we forecast that it'll be about $165,000 next year rather than $150,000. On administrative expenses, our fire and casualty insurance went up quite a bit this year. So we're changing that from 2,000 to 3,500. This year we budgeted legal fees at 10,000. We're gonna bump that up to 15,000. And then we also added for the elections, $300 that will be paid for, people out of Lake City to count our votes. On the next page under Columbia.
We don't vote next year for anything.
These are just minuscule things where everything's gone up. So the janitor supplies went up a little bit to 500.
Next year there's not an
Maintenance
election.
Supplies, we raised it from 2,000 to 3,000. Mowing labor from 4,000 to 6,000. Portalets, we did have to increase that because they're definitely going up, and now that we've gotten an adjustment on the bill, that'll help in that category. We also were forecasting putting them somewhere else for me. No, so we've done. Okay. The remodeling renovation, we left that in there. That was gonna be towards our electric and air for the storage building that we were upgrading, which that's what you are working on.
You had a couple of items there that you did reduce, which was property taxes from the previous year.
Yes.
Because of the way they were calculated.
Yes, in the past, property taxes looked like it was gonna be in the 800 range, 850, but this year we got our bill for the Columbia side, it was only $100, so
Right,
that's.
and the telephone internet, you found something with that, so that was reduced about 1,500.
Yes, yes. Okay, on the Swanee side, internet, we raised that to 1,800 because we're already over budget on that. Janitor supplies a little bit more at 300. Maintenance labor, we knocked that down because the bathrooms have been renovated and the maintenance labor has gone down. And we left our 6,000 in the budget for remodeling and renovation because the plans are to have to get with the engineers and plans for upgrading the boat ramp on the Swanee side. So that was left in the budget.
That's 6,000?
Yes. Next, last page, under membership, keys was bumped up from 10,000 to 12,000 because keys are going up. Already placed the order, right? Yeah. Have you gotten an invoice for that yet? No. Everything else really kind of stayed the same, except we removed out of the budget and made a separate category for capital improvements, so it has its own category now. And instead of 24,000 that we had budgeted this year, we put 40,000 in the budget. And that's for renovation of the clubhouse, is that correct?
That's what we discussed, so
Yeah.
bottom line is to come through here, gut these walls, floor, ceiling, it's pretty much gonna be cosmetic, or there's no structural work.
With a better air conditioner where we can hear.
And the AC is, well, yeah. So that we can actually easily fit more people in here.
What's that? Anybody got any questions on the budget?
So, it looks like, showing.
She wasn't talking to you, she was talking to the board.
And expenses over last year.
Everything's gone up.
So, I think, Vonda, you and Terry both have been getting some phone calls.
I used to run meetings. We usually let
Is that about right?
people speak during the meeting.
Usually.
About 18,000.
Okay. So,
And I saved us 2, so now we're down to 16.
okay, so you guys talked to that.
Yeah, I've been talking to the members, and they're really happy with the job the board is doing, and they said because of the way the economy is, and since I'm the liaison between the members and the board, that they would ask that the board hold it up 175 for 1 more year.
Okay. All right. Vonda?
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the same thing, people that I've talked to as well. Times are tough, and, last year we were able to pull the budget back down. I know we're what, 16 now, 16 over what it was.
Right.
But, yeah, anyway, positive straight through again, I would appreciate
Well, I
it
think
too.
we do have enough cash reserve to do that. We actually build up a cash reserve, that's what we say for every year, but, you know, with the fact that a recession is probably more than likely gonna happen this next year, probably by the first of the year, based on everything that just been, all the financial indicators are indicating as such. Probably be wise for us to focus at the $175 membership rate. You do have a few other things with your stockholders and so forth that are generating some cash. I mean, there's some things we can move around. We have to, and we do have the cash, the additional cash. Right. We try to hold the CD tight. So anyway, board members, do you have anything else that you might want to speak to in the budget before I ask anyone in the audience that might want to speak to the budget item?
What's our dues right now?
175.
75.
And the problem is at 175 is there is not a lot of wiggle room to do a lot of the things we really want to do, but.
This would be the year, this would be the year to hold tight because it's going to be a very tough year.
I agree too. And I think maybe we can put it up in front of
Members?
the,
Yeah, we'll discuss it at the,
Yeah.
we'll set the budget
see what they say.
that tonight. I think this board wants, someone wants to make a motion, but I'm going to let the public speak to any budget item that they want to speak to. And, the only other thing that I did not see is that we did not, adjust that electrical, what we have in that budget, about 5,000 right now.
5,000 right
Yes.
now.
Yes, so did we need to adjust that mechanically in that budget?
Or pull it
But
from
but you
the
allow,
capital.
yeah, but you, yeah, under the capital, we also have, we've got the money there to be pulled from.
But we need to designate that in the budget and move it from somewhere
Well,
else.
you could, I mean, you could not, at number 38,000 and put 2,000 back.
But this is going to be done this year, is
That's
it not?
right, part of
This
Oh,
is
that.
that's
not-
right,
this is
yeah,
not
that's not
next year.
25.
This is
Oh,
now.
okay, so you're gonna do that budget this year out of cash flow that we
We had
had.
cash flow we had, that's what we
Right,
Right.
did last two meetings ago.
Okay, that's right.
Started,
I
so
forgot,
that
that's
will be
right.
on.
And we'll leave that, I think we'll be in good enough shape to handle that. We can work with that just as long as we know that, we are putting, we can go up to 8,000. We're looking at the 5,000 range, but if there's any, change orders, they'll have to come back through the committee, to approve.
Right.
Okay? Okay, yes, sir.
So under this building, what you were just mentioning, the 24,000, are we gonna spend that this year or will it roll over next
We'll
year?
roll over. And that would be some of the dollars that we'll use to cover for the budget position also. Okay, any other questions, board members? Is there any, budget item that anyone in the audience wants to speak to? Okay, John?
Is the budget posted online so we can go over it? Because I only hear part of it, I'm part of it.
The board's going to approve the budget tonight. We had a budget hearing the other night, and we're here tonight to went through the budget. If there was a budget item that you'd like to speak to, we're glad for you to speak to.
A copy of the
I'll
budget.
give you a copy.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. All right, anyone else? Yes, ma'am.
Laura Long, do we have any?
Your name again, please?
Laura Long,
Laura Long.
yeah. Do we have any, we need some picnic tables at Boat Ramp this morning.
I can't hear you.
We would like to get some new picnic tables at Boat Ramp at Swanee, maybe 2. Some
We
of
were
them-
talking about getting new ones that are,
I've already went out.
Is it part,
Let's do this. That would be within the budget that has been approved, so your point is well taken, and they've already discussed that,
Oh,
and
you
the
did,
plans are to
okay.
do that,
All
yes.
right, thank you. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
So under the special projects and capital improvements, you got 40,000.
Yes.
Raised up. Is that just for the clubhouse?
We don't believe it's gonna take that much to do the cosmetics, so anything off of that would be for these other small projects that we may take on. Yeah. We're not gonna ramp this thing up and do all the original things that we were gonna do. We're basically gonna drywall it, floor, and mechanical air conditioning, any minor electrical improvements. That's my understanding.
So we have money left for other projects.
Yeah.
Yeah, 40 seems a lot for cosmetic.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Thank you for the question. Yes, sir.
Jared Buckram. I called the Portalette company,
Yes.
and I could purchase the Portalettes myself for $450, brand spanking new Portalette we own,
Right.
and I never pay a rental fee ever again. The very first meeting that Vicki and Lynn brought me to, I made that suggestion 18 months ago, but no one wanted to hear it then. So now, that's awesome, you got that changed. But we can even lower that lower by us purchasing their Portalette. I mean, with a $167,000 budget, we shouldn't be renting anything.
Who's gonna service them?
Yeah,
It's the same company that's doing, I talked to them, man, the same guy.
What does it cost to service them
$75 a month.
each?
Each, one time per week.
Yeah, but it's for each portalet, right?
Correct.
The price that they're
So-
charging us for the portalets includes the servicing of that one time a week.
So the fee the calculations that I calculated our very first year, we would save over $7,000. And the next 4 years from the rental fee, reimbursing back to getting our money back for buying the Portalette, you would save about $2,000 a year after that.
What is the budget a year? You're gonna save, I'm gonna save.
Who's gonna
It's
go up and
it's
secure
$1,300 a month.
Yeah, but everybody says that in their.
We can't meet it.
That's fine, we appreciate your comments. Okay.
It's not that big.
Last year we budgeted for
have to
that.
have Portalettes by law.
No, but let me tell you what happens if we don't have them. I'm on board, we remove every one of them, except for our property. People seem to get off their boats and use the bathroom and they go, well, maybe it's an animal. No, animals don't leave the toilet paper behind. So that's, I know Point Park really needs one. And also I feel boat ramp because if you're putting your boat in, it's not like you're running. Some of the others you could run home.
Okay, so let's stay on the budget right now. Thanks for the comments. For some cost saving opportunities, if we really, right now we're where we are, we probably really do need to take a look if there is something there. I didn't know that the companies would actually come and service your units if you have your own. So that's, and then there's depreciation and wear and tear on those. We have to take a look at that also. So, is there anyone else that wants to speak to a budget item? Yeah, Jesse.
I just like to mention again that, when we do capital improvements, that's not a regular expenditure, and they're supposed to be voted on by membership. We all own this stuff, so we all are supposed to have, the say on whether we want to improve it and spend the $40,000 for the clubhouse, or we want to put a ramp in, or, all that stuff. And I've spoken on it before, but it just seems like y'all just run it and just do it the way you want. So I figured I'd just bring that up again.
Okay. Thank you for your
We
comment.
haven't done it for the
Pardon me?
We haven't done any capital.
Okay, so,
But you got $40,000 in your budget for it.
We're not doing it all on the clubhouse though.
yeah, is there anyone else that wants to speak to a budget item? Okay, board members, you have a budget before you. The budget will reflect $175 annual donation. This is what we withdraw our great majority of our revenue from, so we can keep that fixed. You have the line items, so what's the pleasure of the board?
I'd like to make a motion to accept the budget out $175,000, the annual budget for 2025.
There was a motion by Rhonda and a second by Charlie. Is there any further discussion, board members? All in favor of the motion, say aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Okay, we will move on to, my agenda. We'll move on to, old business, the annual meeting. Is there anything else, I think you covered it, Madam President, for the annual meeting
Is there anything else we need to add for that?
The monthly dinner's $9 for adults and $4 for children. Yes, I mean, everybody did bring desserts, they can bring desserts. And there was a comment too where we're paying our members, feeding our members, but we're not feeding our members, we're feeding the election people who's coming out to count the ballots because they will be here for lunch, which is the same thing we did last election.
Understood?
It's start 10 to 1, got a vote, 12 will start feeding, and 1 o'clock will start the members meeting.
Okay.
And hopefully sometime during that, we'll get the tally on the votes.
Okay, fine. Do you have anything you want to add on the election?
My favorite said, that should be out, that should be back.
Yeah, absentee ballots have to be back by October 7th. And any proxies that were done. Not really. Everything's pretty much out there, and if you have any questions on any of the procedures, you can go to treeco.net under information, or what's the first thing? I just have a habit of clicking on it. I think it's information and then announcements.
You can scroll down on the page and get to the announcements, right? You can scroll down.
Oh.
There's all your
Okay.
announcements, your events.
So on there, it'll say vote, there's a little red, white, blue thing, and under that, there's a link, and you can click on that, and it has all of the dates, the times, and everything on there. And this year, all we have, so according to statute 720, if you have, I'm just gonna repeat it again, if you have, the same amount of members put in applications or less than the seats available, whether it's for, officers or board members, then they automatically get put in those seats. If you have more, then you have an election. So the treasurer, secretary, vice president were not contested of those. So Terry and Jared are the only two running for president. So it's going to be a very simple ballot, 2 names on it. And do encourage everyone, encourage your neighbors, anybody that don't have social media, that, this is the members meeting, this is when, if you've got something to say, this is your time to come and say it. And vote. And vote. So voting ends at 1 o'clock.
You'll have a newsletter out
Yeah, that'll be going on this week.
this week, okay? With all the information. Okay, so, we'll finish up the old business now. No one else has anything, board members? Okay, yeah, Tom?
Am I to proceed with the electrical? I don't just get that very clear.
Yeah. Are you what?
I am to proceed.
Are y'all,
We can do it.
you're comfortable with the bid? Who's who won the bid?
Holly Lake.
Okay. And that's based on how you interpret the specifications? Okay. Well then, we need to get the board to approve that. Because the board hasn't approved that.
Who's gonna volunteer to help you?
So I know that we started this back, what, about 4 months ago, 5 months ago? If you would, please.
Okay, the, Holly Lake
We're not
is
even
at
talking about the
5536. And, High Springs Electric was at 5945. So there's not that much difference, but if High Springs Electric has to, well, that's for the 3,000, okay. And then we were asking for 8,000 topped off in case of any change.
You've got 3 locations that are being worked on, is that correct? Okay.
There, here,
Okay, all right, so that, so your motion from the committee is to approve Holly Electric, okay?
And the 8,000 budget.
and that,
Okay,
Up to.
so we have a motion by the maintenance committee on the electrical bids. So, Sammy, you make the motion, you can do that, so
I
we
make a
have a second.
motion to go with Holly Electric for 8,000 bid or under.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Tommy. Okay, any more discussion on the electrical bids? All in favor of the motion, say aye. Any opposed? The motion passes. We'll move on now to
Property owners' comments will limit it to 2 minutes per person, and, yes, ma'am.
Amanda Buttram, the day of the vote, are those votes counted that day?
1 o'clock. 1 o'clock, you'll see the box, you walk over. You vote under the small pavilion, and then it'll be brought over here. This is where the counters will be, and there'll be one person kind of overseeing it. Oh, since there's only 2 names on it, we should know before the end of the meeting.
Yeah, and that's the person we're hiring is the person who's gonna be in here.
There's
counting.
3 of them.
3 of them, okay. Second question, shoot, I lost my train of thought. Go, Laura. I'll say, didn't you have something?
I do.
Okay, yes, ma'am.
I got a dog put in my yard. I'm looking.
You have a dog?
I had a dog
Okay.
put in my yard behind the gate.
Uh,
The dog couldn't get out. So I called animal control. The dog was starving. I fed it. I gave it water. And I kept it for, from Friday to Tuesday. But when Tom was here, he said you could call them and they would come get it, right? So Joanna came on Tuesday because of the holiday, and they retrieved the dog, found out the dog was from Missouri and the people were not going to come back and get it, and I could not keep the dog. But then I was told that if it happened again, I would be charged for having the dog picked up. That's not what I understood at that meeting.
Well, I know one thing, I'm sure and glad we're not in the dog business, because that sounds like, that's a problem.
It is a problem because I'm not
So
gonna
you
pay
went back
for.
to code enforcement?
Yes,
the
sir, I
county?
did. Yes, sir, I did.
Wow.
And that's what I was told. But they picked the dog up on Tuesday, because I kept her there, and they said the best thing I could do is just turn her loose. Now, I thought the idea was we don't just let dogs run rampant out here because
Something's wrong with that communication, so
it happened right here.
I'll be glad to call tomorrow. Lord, St. John, I'll be glad to call tomorrow on that for you.
I appreciate it because I have dogs, and if my female would have got to that dog, it would not have been.
I'll call on that. Yes, sir. Your name, sir?
Just David Pete. I watched the meeting last month on YouTube, and I don't like to take credit for nothing I don't do. And Bill Brim stood up and said that Jeff Long and David Pete, and I'm speaking for Jeff, he can't be here. We're gonna report a concrete and redo the pipes on the pump at Boat Ramp Park.
Yes.
We never said that. We never did it. We did cut the tree up, and we did finish cleaning that up today. But I don't want anybody to think that we fixed the concrete or the pipes. We had nothing to do with it and never said anything about it. So I have no idea where he got that information.
Okay, it just sounds like miscommunication. I doubt that there's 5 people that know much about what you're discussing.
I know, it was on the meeting, so I don't want anybody to know that.
Okay.
The other problem, it's a little problem I have. I don't know when this came out, who put it out, but I do not go on Facebook. I don't have a Facebook account. Never have, never will. I don't look at websites. Everybody I talk to on our side doesn't even know there's an election or who's running, whether it's Jared, Vicky, anybody. I found that out on the 3rd, someone gave me that, on the 3rd of September, which puts me, by your rules, out of an absentee ballot. And I'm going on vacation. So I respectfully ask for an absentee ballot from the board, so I can continue my vacation and still get my vote. Because if you don't, I'm told by law that you have to do a mailing. And if you don't sign up for electronic transmissions, you need to get it in the mail. You used to get a newsletter. You just actually mentioned something about a newsletter.
Right.
You're gonna send that after.
Yep.
For me, it's after.
Right. Okay.
So once again, I respectfully ask for an absentee ballot.
Okay, thank you.
Now, how do you know about Bilston? Because I read this a couple months ago, read it out loud, along with putting it on our website.
Here's your paper. Okay,
Word this to me now.
is there any anybody else that wants, yes, ma'am.
More along again. Do you need any help with mailing out the newsletter?
You mean like putting the newsletter together?
Well, I would hope that you already have it ready to.
Yeah, I can, yeah, that's the problem. It's easy to get it mailed. It's just getting it done.
But
That's
thank you for the-
Well, I wouldn't know what you want on it, so.
Right. I mean, if it's something in the future, if anybody's interested in helping with that, we definitely will take help.
So the absentee ballots, back to the election. I used to run elections. I've offered to help. I don't know what kind of rules you all have to go by. But absentee ballots can be handed into the last minute of an election. That's a Florida state law. I ran elections in Florida.
Right, so 2 years ago, our last election, we had an election committee. And that election committee is who decided on those rules.
So you don't have to follow Florida statutes, right? Okay.
Is that Florida statute?
Sure.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's
wait a
Florida
minute,
statute.
that governs the Florida
It
state.
doesn't govern.
You're talking about the state of Florida in general.
Yes.
Yes.
State and federal elections, not POAs and HOAs.
Right.
Because
I
they're
don't
different
know.
rules.
It is HOAs, yeah, for sure.
Well, I don't know.
Associations.
If you go by HOA rules, there's new rules right
Right.
now.
As of January
We come under
first,
the
or
statute.
July first.
So, what else was I gonna say?
Got a ballot?
Where's, are there
Okay.
any ballots in now? No ballots have come in? So you got the cutoff date for the ballots. Where's the ballot box?
Did it even have?
It comes in through the PO box. And then what will happen is they'll be retrieved from the post office. They'll be brought, they'll be brought to Hilda, whoever brings them will have, brings the mail. They will vote, because on the outside it'll say absentee ballot. So they will then count how many it is. They have a piece of paper, they both sign off on it and how many went in on that day. We did that last election and it was the exact number.
Right. Well, I would just hope that next year you give more of a notice of when you need to get your absentee ballot, as well as application for the board.
Because this was posted July 12th.
And it was on the website.
Yes, ma'am.
I
I thought
mean,
they were gonna mail it.
Well,
I have dug through that website just to find stuff. It's not very nice.
The website is super slow.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Laura. Appreciate it. Yes, ma'am.
We pay like $6,000
Stay in the
a
PO
newsletter every year. How many are we supposed to get a year?
4.
Two?
Look at your bylaws.
They're supposed to be 4.
It's supposed to be
Okay,
4.
quarter.
That's
Okay.
right.
Millions
1
in
to
that
3
amount.
years.
So how many have we had
Let's,
this
let's
year?
hold it down.
How many have we had this year so far?
0.
This is the second one going out.
On the website.
Okay, so if it hardly ever gets done and it gets knocked down to twice a year, can we make sure that that newsletter goes out before the annual meeting?
It will, no, it will, that's what's.
But before the deadline to turn in policy, that needs to absolutely be turned in, because that way people do get that information on their newsletter. So let's just at least make sure a newsletter goes out in July. If that's the
And
only
like
way
I
it
said, if
goes out.
anyone wants, it has any experience with that and wants to work on that,
And, you know, we are on YouTube, and we discussed the whole procedure.
We are on email.
Yeah,
This is the 21st century.
Listen, I'm not gonna have the whole room talking, so just a moment, please, okay? Did you finish, Bonnie?
Yeah, I mean, I did, I just.
Okay, yes, sir. Mr. Buttram. He was first.
Yeah, I want to agree with what she's saying, because I know it's in our bylaws that newsletter gets sent out.
Right.
I agree that maybe 10% of the people in our community don't have email, so mail them one.
That's
But
right.
everyone else, email us. I check my email every single day. If you want clarity and transparency, this is the way that we do it, is by informing the people of what's going on, not announcing who is running for president on August 13th, and then having an absentee ballot. Who knew that?
Okay, thank you. Yes, sir.
I heard y'all talking about yourself tonight about keeping the HOA wages at 175 this year. Is that safe to assume that we're not going to get a raise your hand to increase votes at the annual members meeting, or is that still a possibility?
Yeah.
Y'all talking tonight about keeping.
Let me make one thing clear. There's no plan to do any of that.
Well, I mean, it happened 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I didn't hear what you said.
Y'all were talking tonight about keeping the dues at 175 a year.
Correct.
Okay. Considering that, is there still a possibility that at the annual members meeting, there's gonna be a raise your hand vote to raise our dues?
If a member did it, I don't know what's up there.
Joan-
I'm
Joan
hoping
does.
I mean, it
someone
happened
else.
2
Joan
years
does.
ago. I mean, y'all are talking tonight, like it's gonna be written in stone.
Ours is, but if a member makes a motion on the floor,
So that's
that's
still-
your meeting in October.
So
That's the
that still is-
members' meeting.
What I'm asking you, is that still a possibility, that it could go over 175 at the annual members meeting?
You can't vote on anything that's not on the agenda. You can't vote on anything that's not on the agenda.
Okay, but I'm saying it's still a possibility.
It's not gonna happen, okay? The board is not gonna recommend, any other
No, I'm
membership
not
dues.
talking about anybody who was there.
Right, because we all wanted to raise the dues up
I mean,
$1,000.
someone did 250 2 years ago, because they did.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I have a question. Who's our president? Terry Hester?
Yes.
Are you running the meeting for the members or are the board running the meeting for the members?
It's a members meeting.
It's a members meeting, I'm running it, y'all.
She'll be running the meeting, yes.
Well, I would think that she would be the one that we should be talking with and not the board.
Well, this is a board meeting tonight, so you can talk with her anytime you like, Joe. Okay?
That's not
All
what she
right.
said.
All right. So is there anybody else? Yes, ma'am.
How often are we supposed to get this newsletter? We're supposed to get it how many times a year?
Long time ago.
Whenever you get it in the mail.
Okay, wait, no, that's not good, that's not the answer.
Let me just say, we're
It's
supposed
not in the
to,
bylaws.
we try to.
It is in the bylaws.
And in the past, we have done.
It says that we get 2 keys and 4 quarterly, our quarterly newsletter every year. That's 4, a quarter, 4 bylaws.
Okay,
Wait a minute, let one person talk.
Wait.
Yeah.
I don't want a big issue about it. I've received 1 letter in 3 years. That's it. 1
So we
newsletter.
also had your wrong address.
No, that was 3 years ago you had the wrong address, and I'm not gonna.
Well, if you're not getting it, then you need to let us know. If you're looking at
Okay.
you have everything going out.
All right.
She did 3 years ago.
Want to speak to the board?
I
Yeah,
just-
Jesse.
Oh, go ahead.
info@traypo.net. I don't know who's responsible for these email addresses, but it is not working. I believe it has been brought up before. But I gave returned mail for info@traypo.net.
Yeah, I can't find where you guys are finding that online. We disabled that as communications. at
It's on your website.
I will look back and see if I can.
It's
find
on the
it.
first page, all the way to the bottom, contact us, and you have info, membership, documents,
Anything
whatever.
related to elections, you can come into elections.
I will double check on that. Thank you. I'll take a look at it.
Okay, anyone else? Yes, Jesse.
I'll try to be brief. So y'all mentioned the budget for next year. Y'all have the $300 for the counters for the election. There's no election next year, so I don't think that's probably taken out. Also, like I mentioned in the bylaws, it does lay out all that stuff about the 4. Y'all should look into that too, because we have not been getting that. And when y'all send the estoppels out, y'all are charging people the rate for $175, but then you're not giving them the benefit of sending them the keys and the quarterly newsletters. So you're actually charging them for a benefit they're not receiving, and y'all are probably going to get a lawsuit over that, because you're charging people their estoppels. You're putting liens on their properties. You're forcing them to pay when they sell the property, but you're not sending everybody keys out. So that's what you do. A realtor sends you a letter, and you guys send it back saying, yeah, they owe past dues of X amount per year, but y'all charge them, from what y'all have told everybody and I've seen, the full amount, but they don't get their keys, ever. The keys y'all say are privileges. So you either have to send everybody keys out here, and then you can do estoppels to charge somebody for the service you provided them, or you don't charge them because you didn't provide them with the service. You can't have the cake and eat it as well. You have to do one of the 2 things. See what I'm saying?
Estoppel is the service. Most places don't send keys. That's just part of our perks, but the estoppel is.
In our bylaws, it says that if we so choose for any one lot that we want, that we can get a membership in good standings and get the keys to the parks and a quarterly newsletter. That is in our bylaws. That's what it is. That's our membership, is the keys and the newsletters. We don't just y'all don't just give us keys because we're so lucky, because you paid our dues, we're good guys. We pay for them, and y'all are supposed to provide the service.
Okay. Thank you, Jesse. pass it.
Also, one more thing. I think it's a
Hang on, I might have to shut the meeting down. Just go ahead.
I think it's a big conflict of interest for the president to be answering the phone calls to ask for the absentee ballots, considering she's running. She shouldn't be talking to people about that, because I know several people that mentioned that she actually was, furthering her endeavor to become president by speaking to people that were requesting the absentee ballots. I don't think that's right, because that gets her an unfair advantage against anybody that's running.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Can I answer that? Does he lying?
Well, let's,
Nobody.
we're not gonna get into big debates tonight. Let him make his point. I know where you stand, so we'll go with that. Anyone else? All right, call for a motion to adjourn. Motion to adjourn.
What am I lying about?
Now we get to go home.
I'm lying about she answers the phone? What am I lying about? Because she does answer the phone. I have had several people tell me that she said, hey,
We want to
vote
talk
for-
to you before we leave.
vote for us, Well, it's not fair.
I worked in property management before I came up here. This is a shit show.
Oh, yeah.
No, the estoppel thing was good.
Somebody's forgetting their cigarettes, ma'am, I believe. Somebody's forgetting them. Okay. Yeah.
One of them. It was me, you can leave me. Nothing changed.
Yeah, I mean, I do have a lawsuit, but my lawsuit is for $0, despite what you heard. And you can look on the county's website. Only thing I'm suing for is that this gets run the right way, and all of our money gets appropriated to the right things, instead of like what they just said. Did y'all just hear what they said? They're going to take a bid for $4,900, but then give them up to another $3,000 for what? Have y'all ever accepted a bid like that in your life? Have you ever heard of a bid being taken like that in your life? Have you went to a business and said, you know what, that lobster's $12.99, and then you say, you know what, well, I'm going to pay you $53 for that. How about that?
Yeah.
That's not the way a bid works. A bid goes in for the amount, and then
Like,
you
oh, I guess
never.
we only need two. No, you need three.
They did it with this awning right here. This year we spent $14,000 to put like 10 feet of roof on that awning. The bid that came in was for like $8,000 or something, I believe. We have to look at it, don't misquote me.
Right.
But we decided at the meeting that they're going to give them another up to $5,000 for what? For the bid. Have you ever heard that about a bid? Have you ever even
bid like that?
No.
You approve the exact bid tonight, and if you can't approve that exact bid, you don't do it.
Right, and you never say, you know what, the bid was $12,000, but we're going to approve them for $18,000 because we want to put in their $5,000 just in case.
You know what that
Have
is?
you ever heard that?
They divide that up between
Oh,
themselves.
hey now.
For them to,
I don't,
Look, I
like
got
I
a
said,
question
I'm not saying any of that because I don't want any of the attorneys to, come after me for anything. But I do agree with what you're saying.